So getting diagnosed with ADHD is difficult enough. There's a lot to come to terms with. But then there's the added pressure of trying to figure out whether you want to take medication for it. Some people just don't want to take pills. I get it. I had the same when I was first diagnosed. So if you choose not to take medication for ADHD, what can you do that actually helps your focus and manage your ADHD symptoms? In today's video, I'm going to break it down. If you're new here, my name's Chris. I'm a creator with ADHD, and I help fellow ultra-normal brains learn the tools to focus, grow, and get stuff done. You know, I can understand why some people choose not to take medication at all. In fact, some of the ADHDers that I work with choose not to take meds. So what are the next biggest things that you can do that actually have an impact on ADHD symptoms? I'm going to go through what has had the biggest impact with the ADHDers that I work with, and myself included. And first up, I would say that these are foundations. Even if you do take medication, if you don't do these things, then the medication is not going to have much use at all. It'd be kind of like buying premium fuel for your car and then driving it in first gear all the way down the freeway. So let's take a look. So when it comes to managing ADHD, there's two main ways to do it, externally and internally. So we're going to talk about the external first, and we'll get to the internal in a minute. Modifying the environment is one of the very first things that we should do. ADHD affects what's called our working memory. That's kind of like the RAM of our brain. Working memory is where we store the information that is ready to be used. So let's say you are trying to figure out a math equation, like 2 + 2 = 4, but you're also trying to listen to your boss talk. Both of those things take up different slots in our working memory. And with ADHD, we have more limited slots. What can happen is working memory can fill to capacity, which results in us being overwhelmed, feeling stressed, feeling worn out. When we fill up all of the slots in our working memory, we struggle to prioritize what information that is coming in is important and what to block out. So one of the main solutions to that is to craft an environment that is very low on incoming information, noise, sounds, conversation, information that is ready to try to take over our limited capacity of working memory. Even things like footsteps outside or people talking next to you can impact our focus massively. So one of the solutions is noise cancelling headphones. What I usually do is play brown noise through those headphones, and this helps to block out the sounds and keep the working memory free so it's easier to focus. But there's a million other things that you can do. Closing unused tabs on your browser, keeping your environment tidy, keeping things organized, basically creating systems and an environment that help to reduce the cognitive load on your brain, helping reduce the information that is going through into your working memory. There's also another really crucial environmental factor that a lot of people don't talk about, but I'm going to put that into its own section later on. The next thing that can have a massive impact on ADHD symptoms is exercise. So there have been tons and tons of studies that show that regular exercise reduces so many of the symptoms of ADHD. Hyperactivity, impulsivity, inattention. One of the main pieces of research shows a link between regular exercise and higher levels of executive function in university students. So the study found that the more exercise the students performed daily, the higher their levels of executive function. Executive function is kind of like the organization part of our brain. Exercise promotes the growth of brain connections. It also boosts neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are crucial for self-regulation and executive functioning. So as an ADHDer, we can often get pretty bored of stuff quickly. So to maintain a good exercise regime for yourself that's not repetitive, it's really important to vary your exercise routine to maintain an interest in it, prevent the cognitive burnout of doing the same repeated actions over and over again. Another crucial way of managing ADHD without medication is sleep. Lack of sleep is one of the biggest contributors to worsening ADHD symptoms. But it's not just the amount of sleep that you have. You can have 8 hours of sleep and still feel groggy and unfocused the next day. It's about the quality of sleep. So how can you increase the quality of sleep? Well, working to maintain a consistent sleep schedule, even on the weekends, helps to regulate our body's internal clock. That helps to improve the quality of sleep. It helps you have a deeper sleep, and a deeper sleep means that you have an improved focus the next day. Working on that consistency as a foundation to managing ADHD can help in a lot of different ways, including time blindness, which is the difficulty in recognizing how long time has passed. By establishing a bedtime routine and a good sleep schedule, it helps to signal to our body that it's time to wind down, and it helps to regulate our time blindness, knowing how much time has passed, and prepares it for sleep. Having a bedtime routine is super important, and it can include activities such as reading a book, listening to music, practicing some of the internal stuff we'll talk about in a moment. And again, sleep quality is affected by external factors such as the comfort of our bed, the darkness outside, minimizing the sounds and external stimuli that are coming in, noise and light pollution. All of this helps to improve sleep quality. So using tools like blackout curtains, sleep masks, earplugs, white noise machines, they can all be super helpful. And this also extends out to technology habits. Having better technology habits before bed can help make going to bed a lot easier. So switching off screens early or keeping your phone away from your bed, things like that. Before we move on to the internal factors, there's a lot of ways to manage ADHD and increase our focus. There's way too many to dig into in just YouTube videos. So I invite you to sign up to my weekly newsletter or to join the free Focus Bootcamp, where I actually dig into the tools that myself and other fellow Ultra Normal members use every single day. If you want to start living up to your potential and craft the thriving life that you deserve, then click on the link in the description below to join us and take the next step. So when it comes to internal ways to manage ADHD, one incredible tool that changed my life is practicing mindfulness. Unlike a lot of ADHD treatments, mindfulness develops our inner skills. It improves our ability to control your attention by helping to strengthen your ability to self-observe, to train your attention, to focus on the moment. In other words, it kind of teaches you to pay attention to paying attention, if that makes sense. And this has the added bonus of making us more aware of our internal emotional state as well. And that can help us deal with some of the impulsivity of ADHD. And it's super easy to start with mindfulness. We can start with a 5-minute seated meditation at home and then gradually work up to something more like 15 or 20 minutes. It's a skill that can be practiced, but the key is to use that mindfulness throughout your day. Always being aware of where your attention is focused while you're being engaged in some of the routine activity. So obviously the environment around you can impact your ADHD, but it's more than just tidying up and reducing distractions. ADHD has a massive impact on our emotions and our emotional regulation, and nothing impacts our ADHD symptoms more than stress. But managing stress is both a matter of internally managing it and also externally. Externally, you can curate who you surround yourself with. It's really important to surround yourself with people who support you, people who want for you what you want for yourself. Things like consuming media that is positively charged and not negatively charged. Surrounding yourself with people who are encouraging rather than people who drag you down and criticize you. Creating a good environment around yourself is not just about choosing good people around you, supportive people around you, and good influences, but it's also about choosing who isn't around you, what you choose not to consume, what you choose to not listen to. But then there's also the internal work, which is about working on your internal shifts to handle the stress that does come up, to manage your emotions, to figure out what your goals are in life and what your values are. And there are loads of different ways to do this, from something simple as journaling to therapy. There's a million different types of therapy that can really help you figure that stuff out. Even working with a supportive coach that can help you craft an environment that works in your favor, that's there to support you rather than pull you away from your goals, your dreams, or your values. So subscribe if you want to see more med-free ways to manage your ADHD. And with that, guys, I will see you in the next video.